Jim Jones is breaking. Yes, the internet is going crazy after Jim Jones was caught on camera performing the unimaginable. More quickly than you can say love and hip-hop meltdown. Footage of what looks to be a full-blown violent argument between Jim and his longtime fiancée, Chrissy Lampkin, has gone viral. But wait, is really another ploy to gain influence for the cameras? Or was Jim truly going too far this time? Because what we're witnessing is tumultuous, disorderly, and utterly scandalous. We're talking about pandemonium, like reality TV went too far. It's cancel culture on speed dial mentioned. Because social media is on fire, blogs are exploding, and the streets are talking. He goes from being a rapper who became a reality star and received a diamond engagement to being at the heart of a maelstrom that no one anticipated, chose to ignore it. What actually transpired in that hotel hallway then? Who made the video leak? Does it seem like no one has been on the verge of Jim and Chrissy's relationship for years? It's more than just drama, so fasten your seatbelt. This is a receipt scandal. We're unpacking everything, darling. This is how the mayhem actually started. It's not with fists flying, but with a phone screen illuminating with secrets and whispers in the corridor. The couple that has been hanging around, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, the engagement, which has been ringing in our ears since the days of flip phones, plunged headfirst into scandal. Furthermore, the elevator video that went viral put the period into a conflict zone. What began as a private dispute within hotel walls turned into a public outburst, according to several so-called unnamed sources. To put it simply, it's giving lawsuits rather than love. Let's go back now. Everybody recalls their crazy love and hip-hop roller coaster. Proposals, yelling, and tears that seemed too real to be staged. This isn't VH1 anarchy, though. Viral video purports to show Jim lunging at Chrissy in a moment that has everyone wondering has gone way too far. The video is extremely grainy, but Chrissy is seen stepping back and shouting something we couldn't make out, loud as ever. Apparently, hotel security footage from 2025 still uses body language instead of a toaster. Don't lie, Jim had an aggressive stance. Chrissy didn't appear surprised either. She appeared worn out, as if it wasn't the first time that things had gotten out of hand. And now, as if it were their civic obligation, the internet is putting everything together. Using screenshots that resemble court exhibits, people are bringing up videos from 2012 discussing how to examine this energy. TikTok is exploding. One user put it, "This is what happens when unresolved issues are glamorized for TV." Another user even added, "I always knew something was off with Jim, and this just confirms it." And they're not incorrect, you guys. More than a romance, these two have been clinging to and it wasn't love when Chrissy asked him to marry her back in the day. It was a warning sign for 4K before 4K even existed. Someone sparked the match, and now the flags are drenched in gasoline. Let's discuss what transpired before the video was leaked. According to sources, the couple stayed in a separate suite at a high-end hotel in Manhattan for what was intended as a weekend retreat. However, that marked the end of the fairy story and the beginning of the police reports. According to a hotel employee who requested anonymity, most likely because they still wished to maintain their employment, they heard shouting at around 2 in the morning. Sounded like someone throwing something. And then I heard a woman. They continued, yelling, "You told me you would change. That's not love, Hugh. That's a Lifetime movie in real time." Security was called to the 8th floor shortly after, but things got stranger than that. Rather than handling the situation discreetly, someone from the staff allegedly sold the footage to a gossip page. And it spread like wildfire in dry brush on the internet. The shaky video was posted on every major site within hours, with headings like "Toxic Love Goes Too Far," "Where's Mona Scott when you need her?" and "Jim explodes on Chrissy." This isn't about drama anymore. It's the body language, the ranting, and the panic in Chrissy's voice made everyone really uncomfortable. Let's be clear, we're not accusing Jim of laying hands, but the tape doesn't. show a full-blown beatdown. Chrissy, on the other hand, posted and removed a mysterious Instagram story that read, "Some of y'all are going to believe a lie just because it entertains you." Jim's response to all of this was cricket silence without a tweet, story, or even a dubious repost. It's about whether reality TV blurred the line so much that we missed the warning signs for entertainment. And darling, if that's not damage, control. I have no idea what it is, but this is where things start to go awry and evolve into a full-fledged conspiracy. Because Twitter believes it's the FBI online detectives started removing receipts from earlier incidents. Do you recall Chrissy's statement in the interview that she had to take a back seat to preserve her peace? Or when Jim told her he would attend counseling sessions but didn't, only to show that he cared? Fans are now connecting everything like a crazy jigsaw puzzle. They are drawing attention to Chrissy's frequent gaslighting on camera. How often did she cry when Jim looked at her as if she were speaking French? Not to be forgotten is the notorious "I'm not ready for marriage" incident, in which Chrissy appeared to be eating glass. The story is developing and developing quickly. Jim has always been emotionally aloof, domineering, and cunning. And perhaps physically hostile as well. However, the timing of this release has people scratching their heads. For example, why? Now, why release the video so soon after Jim's new music project was launched? Are we seeing the breakdown of a real toxic relationship? Separate? The number of streams. That is the crucial question. And if it's true, Chrissy has been dealing with behind the scenes for years, which makes either response unsettling. However, both of them simply messed with something far too significant for clout if it's phony. We're not the only ones who want to know either. There are rumors that legal teams are now involved to stop the footage's dissemination and sponsors connected. Two Jim's most recent sponsorships have reportedly halted talks. But it's too late. You can be sure that the internet doesn't forget. Remove another unnamed source, most likely the extreme friend of Jim's barber's cousin, asserts that there is a second video that purports to capture what transpired within the motel room prior to entering the corridor. And it's game over, Hugh, if it slips. Because if there was debate in part 1, there may be demands for charges in part 2, according to a dubious blog that claims to have ties to TMZ. The video is presently being evaluated. However, as you are well aware, if there is more, it will happen since in 2025. Influence will be worth money and the mess is profitable. However, this is the unexpected turn of events. Going live on Instagram, Chrissy's longtime friend, who also happens to be a background cast member from previous seasons of Love and Hip Hop. According to her, Chrissy has been attempting to leave Jim for years, but each time she does, he entices her back with promises of money, marriage, or change. He's not simply poisonous. He's addictive, she said. Clip was screen captured, saved, and reposted 100 times. Additionally, when more people watch, they begin to make connections with the entire fucking franchise, not just Jim and Chrissy. What if the plot didn't revolve around toxicity? What if it had always been real? What if the genius was the mirror reflecting what we didn't want to see, not Mona Scott? We didn't want to see. And the actual unraveling starts right when you see. As we see that when you believe it can't go much farther. Jim's inner circle begins to panic as the internet is already on fire and the video is being broken down frame by frame like it's the Zapruder movie. Supposedly an insider who reveals to a gossip website that the rapper has attended emergency meetings to limit the damage, claiming to have worked closely with Jim's management team. They claim that Jim is incensed not only about the leak, but also about its source. Evidently, only a small number of people had surveillance and access to those particular floors. And now their suspicions were circulating within camp. Some people think that Chrissy's close friend or relative may have released the video so that everyone may finally see what she's been going through behind the scenes. However, the true bombshell, that second video that everyone was chatting about, did indeed surface and didn't hold back. A new video purportedly captured inside the hotel room minutes before the altercation in the corridor shows a boisterous verbal altercation that swiftly got out of hand. The audio is dominated by Jim's voice, scolding Chrissy for being disloyal, treacherous, and publicly insulting him. Viewers are terrified by the way he approaches her, surrounding her while pointing and screaming. Even though there isn't any actual physical conflict scene, when Chrissy tells him to back off, her voice quivers, and she says, "I'm done protecting you." That one statement alone has gone viral and is being featured in TikTok videos, response reels, even big league commentary. Influencers. It's more than simply a scandal now. There is a movement. Chrissy's previous interviews are being inundated with empathetic remarks. Some are urging women's rights organizations to intervene since her social media silence is now being misconstrued as fear or coercion. Jim's brand is in free collapse in the meantime. In addition to his sponsorship arrangements being questioned, the organizers of one of his planned performances discreetly canceled it because they didn't want to cope with the fans and backlash's reactions. They are divided. Half of the population feels this is deep-rooted, emotional, and perhaps physical abuse that has been covered up by years of celebrity, toxic allegiance, and a highly manufactured image. The other half thinks this is just sloppy reality TV energy that went out of control. A lengthy timeline of deception dating back to the beginning of their public connection was detailed in a Twitter thread that even went viral. Do you recall? Chrissy saying that she had to leave him in order to make him miss her, or when he was unable to commit, so she purchased a ring. Now, all of those times seem to fit together like pieces of a much darker puzzle. Other celebrities have also started to voice their opinions. A confusing tweet was sent by an R&B singer who used to work with Jim. "Some of you are, the man is someone I've seen. I'm praying for her." A wave of likes and cryptic quotation tweets with individuals claiming "we knew" and "the streets have been talking" followed that tweet. In the meanwhile, legal professionals are taking over, doing internet analyses of the potential legality of this footage. In a 30-minute live, a well-known YouTube attorney with millions of followers discussed how the hotel room footage would be against privacy rules and how Chrissy might be able to file a lawsuit if she could demonstrate that she was physically or emotionally intimidated. And you know what? There are now rumors of a restraining order. According to some sources, Chrissy's team has already sought legal advice, and she is considering seeking legal protection in addition to ending the relationship permanently. Jim has been silent, but according to insiders, he is furious not out of regret, but rather because he feels betrayed. It seems that he feels vulnerable and ambushed, and he is accusing Chrissy of making him seem terrible. According to his side, the video was altered and the background is missing, and there was only annoyance rather than danger. But the general public seems unconvinced, because perhaps many more people are in risky relationships than we realize if rage manifests as aggressive pacing, shouting over a partner, and encroaching on their personal space while they are crying. The fact that Chrissy's quiet is being calculated isn't helping either. In her final known communication with her hairdresser, according to reports, she told her stylist, "It's time. I'm not cleaning up his mess." That's not just a statement. That's a declaration. She was tired of defending someone who had been dragging her name and heart through the mud for more than 10 years because people were now leaking text conversations left and right. As all of this on Mona Scott, the creative force behind The Legacy of Reality TV, is also being criticized. Some are accusing her of ignoring the real-life trauma occurring behind the scenes and of taking advantage of their hostility for ratings. In an anonymous teleblog article, a former Love and Hip Hop production assistant disclosed that Chrissy would cry off camera several times without anyone stepping in to stop her. There was a sentence at the conclusion of the blog post that chilled everyone. The abuse wasn't caused by reality TV. It merely provided a stage for it. Chrissy's former friend is now speaking up out of the blue. According to a former coworker who conducted a clubhouse room, Chrissy has been secluded for years. gradually distanced themselves from support networks and came to believe that love entails enduring suffering. Additionally, according to that same associate, Chrissy would withdraw whenever Jim was about to lose his temper. Beyond a viral video, this pattern of emotional manipulation, public humiliation, and private chaos has been going on for approximately 10 years. And this unraveling story is getting more layers, more voices, and more leaks every day. Now, fans are urging Chrissy to break her silence. If and when she does speak, there are petitions, popular hashtags, and a ton of conjecture about what she will say. The most unsettling detail, however, is a reported impending interview with a prominent daytime talk show presenter who supposedly made private contact with Chrissy. The production insider claims that the invitation was made with the assurance that she would have a secure place to voice her opinions. There is yet no proof, but if it is accurate, it might be the most explosive interview since Meghan Markle was seated across from Jim and Oprah. His legal team is allegedly interfering, while he is apparently holed up somewhere with his phone off. Damage control is now in full crisis mode, and no official statement has been released as of yet. Just quiet and vanishing appearances, no apology, no denial. A single radio program, no comment, was the representative's response when someone tried to phone him live for a comment. Said more than anything else he could have said. Because there is no safety in silence when it comes to public disgrace. Guilt packaged in a flimsy public relations plan. However, quiet doesn't last forever. Not when the world is eager for a new twist and is always changing timelines. Another voice joined the commotion a few days after the second video rocked the internet. From the police this time. According to a gossip tabloid, an unnamed NYPD source claimed that they have gotten numerous tips regarding the hotel incident and are currently examining statements and video to see if charges should be brought. Even though no official charges have been brought yet, the rumors of potential legal repercussions have sent shockwaves via the hip-hop scene. Additionally, Jim's name is no longer only muttered in group discussions. According to reports, it is on the verge of a possible police inquiry. The level of public pressure has increased to the point where even groups that raise awareness of domestic abuse have begun to issue statements. A well-known nonprofit anonymously shared a critical Instagram post. Abuse doesn't always leave bruises. Emotional intimidation and fear are violence too. That post received millions of likes, shares, and comments, and Chrissy was personally tagged in them. Then the unexpected bombshell arrived. In a startling reveal livestream, a former Love and Hip Hop producer emerged with shaking hands and a voice that broke halfway through. He described events that happened during filming but were purportedly omitted to preserve Jim's reputation. He mentioned instances in which Chrissy sobbed in the green room while refusing to leave her trailer. Despite producers' entreaties to continue the narrative, he claims that despite several objections, they were all ignored for the sake of maintaining narrative coherence and generating high ratings. He even implied that Jim's producers were afraid of during filming. He frequently kept crew members away from him due to his fury behind the scenes. All of a sudden, the relationship was more than simply toxic. It was made possible by a whole media machine. The reaction was quick. Once more, Mona Scott and her producing company became popular. This time, it's for supposedly disregarding their renowned franchise. Emotional mistreatment for the drama of reality TV. Supporters started calling for accountability from Jim, as well as the organization that legitimized his actions. Think pieces like "When Love Isn't Entertainment" and "Chrissy Lampkin Deserved Better" started to appear all over the internet. People began accessing previous interviews, behind-the-scenes videos, and red carpet moments, reading them with fresh perspectives and a sharper lens. Other reality stars also started to voice their opinions. Another Love and Hip Hop City cast member said that she was also pressured to remain in toxic moments and was dissuaded from speaking up when things became Hot Chrissy was silent but more powerful than ever in the middle of what seemed to be a collapsing facade. Chrissy finally said something. Not on television or in an interview, but in a composed, subdued Instagram video that lasted less than 3 minutes. She was sitting in front of a window with sunlight shielding her face. There was no makeup or background music. Despite her composed appearance, her voice was unwavering. Jim was never mentioned by her. Her words were as sharp as a dagger, even though she didn't bring up the video. She started by saying that there comes a moment when defending someone else turns into the act that breaks you. I dedicated years of my life to what I believed to be love. In exchange, I received fear, bewilderment, and quiet. Her gaze remained fixed. She didn't cry. Until you're ready, no one can make you leave. And nobody can stop you when you're ready. I'm all set now. That was it. No chatter, no tea. Only the soft thunder of a woman taking back her authority. The internet took off. The video was repeated by fans, influencers, celebrities, and even media sites with remarks like, "We stand with Chrissy." Her silence was a powerful statement. Her reality, however, shouted. Jim's world continued to fall apart in the meantime. Companies started removing their endorsements from the market. His music video, which was supposed to be released that same week, was completely canceled. It is said that his publicist resigned. According to a chat shared by a team member with knowledge of the matter, Jim said, "She's ruining everything." But no, Jim, she wasn't ruining anything. She was making it public, wondering what will happen next. Will Jim actually get charged? Will a full-fledged legal lawsuit be filed? Will other females come forward? Let's face it, when one individual talks, others are inspired to follow suit. Moreover, what if is Chrissy's story merely one chapter in a much larger book of tales about powerful men who cause harm behind closed doors while concealing their identities behind fame? Chrissy's memoir is now being discussed as well. On the day her video was released, a prominent publisher allegedly contacted her and offered a 7-figure deal. We won't only be getting rumors if that book is written. The truth is being shown. To us, unvarnished. Additionally, Jim is utterly dark. One source claims that there were no interviews or social media posts, only rumors that he was living at a friend's farm in upstate New York to restore his reputation and receive therapy. However, the harm has been done. Furthermore, damage control is no longer the focus of it, as to do with responsibility. What began as a leak video has become a cultural reflection. The entertainment sector is revenue. Reality TV is coming under fire for using genuine suffering to create phony drama. Additionally, as viewers, we are becoming aware of the price of our consumption. Chrissy is being hailed as a lady who finally spoke up, in addition to being a survivor. The outpouring of support has continued. In her comments area, women are sharing their personal narratives. Resources are being provided by advocacy groups, once linked to a plot of heartache and never-ending waiting. Her name is now associated with courage, self-awareness, and the choice to leave. The present is an important moment, not merely a viral one. Jim Jones isn't the only one. It concerns everyone who has ever concealed their suffering under allegiance, who has ever been able to maintain a smile while the cameras were rolling. It's about being conscious, speaking up, and not being quiet. Catchphrase, a franchise, or a filter. Chrissy finally gave it the voice it needed. Now that the smoke has finally been exposed and the truth is becoming evident, we must consider how many more tales similar to Chrissy's are concealed by flashing lights, filters, and celebrity. You already know that this wasn't simply another celebrity scandal if you watched the entire video. It was a mirror of the more profound problems that so many people keep to themselves. What do you think then? Could this be the start of Jim Jones' demise, or merely another phase in the never-ending cycle of is celebrity shielding powerful? Leave a comment below with your opinions. We would like to speak with you. You think Chrissy needs to give more public speeches? Should Jim be subject to legal action? Are you at last recognizing reality TV for what it truly is? Please click like if you support survivors. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss any more shocking revelations like this. 1. We are exposing the stories that others are afraid to discuss. And have faith that things will only get wilder from here. Set your alerts, be prepared, and keep in mind that every secret is eventually revealed. Continue to observe, continue to inquire, and most above all, continue to demand the truth. Because we do more than simply report on the drama here. We reveal it.